again this evening, a gathering in the name of peace, love, and compassion. The sharing of wisdom, through impersonal inquiry, and also the opening of space to alleviate suffering. A lot of suffering is being expressed in the so-called world. Then again, we create our own world through our own perception. That perception can see anything that it wants to see. A world of love, a world of peace, or a world of fear, or a world of hatred. And be that which one wants to bring into the world. You can ask yourself, what is it that I bring into this world? And what are the thoughts that are being generated that brings that specific energy from the infinite emptiness into being, through this being, through the thoughts, words, and deeds that we do every day. Thought, word, and deed manifested from the energy provided by the infinite emptiness. That is what creates the world. And I welcome those that are joining. I see Marlene has joined. Thank you. This is the opening of space for peace, love, and compassion. Also the opportunity to inquire impersonally, and also the opportunity to alleviate suffering, ask impersonal inquiries, and simply to experience this sacred space of peace, love, and compassion. And opening a space for all to be, and simply be without thinking, without the extra baggage of needing to distinguish, speculate, doubt, fear. To leave the story aside for now, and then possibly for a duration longer than that, and see what happens. Let the story aside for a little bit. Let it rest. Let the attachment of the mind to story as identity rest for a little bit. The striving, the eagerness, the competition, the stress. Let it, all those things that belong to personhood, let them go in this moment. Even the name that was given to you, and everything else that culture has given to you. Let all that go right now and see what's left and see what's there. Even in this waking state, that's done while we're sleeping when you think about it. we exist without an identity. Yet, during some portions of the night, we maintain the awareness that, yes, I'm asleep. Yet the mind and the body are at rest. And it feels good. It's rejuvenating, restoring. The same can be done in the waking state. Full relaxation of the mind. And in doing so, one recognizes and realizes the extent of the space that is available always, the space of unconditional love, the space of inner peace, and the space of infinite compassion. Now, one can do that. Here, one can do that without the necessity to sit in a strict meditative posture or to, as they say, visit a Himalayan cave or go on a retreat or do anything other than simply sitting during a Facebook Live and be aware that there is presence, an infinite presence of awareness, an infinite presence of consciousness. And it being infinite is permeating all things and pervades and gives energy to life. It's the loving energy that creates life. Such that everything becomes a miracle. Everything is recognized as a miracle, and everything is recognized as beautiful. And everything is known. To me a while to remember to just but check your page. This is a sacred space for impersonal interactions. This is a heart connection. This is a spirit connection. This is a loving connection. And I am grateful for everyone that is together here via this technology. It does its pros. There are pros to it. Being a firm believer, a firm proponent of the energy of togetherness in person. This has its mirroring effect, some say, and gets out to people, and since it is posted, the potential for anyone to come across it and find something that may be life-changing, or skip it. It's all in the intention. And if the intention is righteous, all else shall be added upon that intention. Again, this is a space for peaceful presence, loving presence, compassionate presence. Some self-inquiry, knowing thyself as love, as peace, as joy, as equanimity, as pure potentiality. Pure potential, meaning anything is possible. And all those possibilities are at hand, now, here. When one lets go of the mind, and primarily the mind's belief that the individual person is real. Separate from the entire universe and able to control an entire universe. A futile business. An unprofitable market. And simply be. This is a space to simply be, a sacred space. To hear the words, peace, love, and compassion. Saying this often in previous gatherings, sharing. Words that may be heard for the first time today on an evening here. And I welcome those who are joining. That the actual words, peace, love, and compassion, can be heard each day. You can say them each day. And the words themselves have an energetic resonance, a frequency that brings about those things. Peace, they bring about unconditional love, and they bring about compassion. They allow them to arise, to be, because they always are. Before the word during the word, after the word. They are infinite and eternal qualities of the universe. This relative universe, this construct that's been created for the expression of consciousness in order to know itself joyfully, blissfully, beautifully, fearlessly, without reservation, without judgment, spontaneous, natural, raw, simultaneously offering unconditional love to all. The acceptance of that is a beautiful thing, and it opens up the heart space. And one's perception becomes so focused that anything outside of that focus becomes very blurred. If it tries to incorporate into that unconditional love, it fails every time. Because that deep inner peace is so rooted that it's unshakable. It is. It is, and it's happening. It's happening now. In the now. And it's happening in the here. Is there any point in time when there isn't or now? Therefore, now is timeless, because in order for there to be something of time, it must fit into something. And that's the timeless now. The same can be said for space. The spaceless space is the here. And time itself is an illusion. It fluctuates, as people have discovered. It has a speed. It slows up, slows down. It's measured upon an agreement called a clock. And even the clock adds an extra day every 4 years. So that's inaccurate as well. Although, even though that may be inaccurate, timelessness, the fundamental quality of now, the now, is ever present, ever accessible, because it is infinite. And it is the foundation of, or peace and love are the foundation of it, through conscious awareness. Knowing this, you become the light. You are that light, you are that love. I welcome those that just joined. You are the love and the light that is shining for all to see. And the space is open for peace, love, and compassion for that experience. And to ask any impersonal inquiries, and also anything that may be needed to alleviate any suffering. And suffering is mainly the connection that one has as an identity to one's mind, the thoughts in one's mind. There is such a thing as pain, yet pain can be experienced without suffering, while allowing it to be constantly attended toward and constantly focused upon. And allowing it to reside in a dormant spot such that it takes a home, it makes a home in it somewhere in the body and becomes a disease over time. And then that release of that disease, it may cause healing or it may cause further pain. And that fear, to go through that fear, even if it's physical pain, to go through that operation and to recognize it and take that opportunity to go and delve into the heart of what that pain is and that suffering is. And once it's seen, it's alleviated. And there's nowhere for it to go. When the light shines so deeply into the crevices of suffering, it has nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. And when the unconditional love faces it, the surrender is in the illusion. The surrender is in the illusion. The ghost gives up. And it says, I will no longer haunt you. There may be echoes of the ghost. And those are echoes. Those are the habitual changes that are made throughout one's changing. Yes, yet once it's recognized, there's little chance of going back. Once the butterfly emerges from the cocoon, the butterfly discards the balloon and says, that transformation, the home of that transformation, I move on and I fly. I bring beauty and joy to all those that witness my flight and my colors. And we are the same. We are the same. We can sit in the cocoon of being. And hatch with the wings that are given to us. The wings of peace on one side and unconditional love on the other. With little feeler antenna of compassion. So when we are out there and we see something that suffering that needs to be alleviated, we are able to provide focus and attention and heal it. All this experienced. These are words, concepts, ideas of a mind, and they come and go, yet the experience remains the same. The experience of I am remains the same for all things. And the awareness there is I am. The most common experience is that I exist. I am. And that is the spirit, the unshakable spirit, the connection point of humanity, the connection point of life. keeps things connected. Existence itself keeps all united as one. Arising energetically. In a loving, compassionate manner. I repeat these words because other words have been repeated for millennium. Other words, they've all taken the energy of words, other words, they've all taken different forms. You might start off with blasphemer or sinner or other languages of or bondage, hatred, or some of the more contemporary words, and anger, and fear. To actually hear the words of love, peace, and compassion, joy, and see which resonate in your heart. See which walk hand in hand with truth, rather than in the wake of that, of truth, and try to resist this truth of love, peace, and compassion. Let us switch the paradigm, and rather than allow any hatred to be resisted, let us allow fear to try to resist unconditional love and see what happens. It's impossible. If the unconditional love and the peace is so grand and so great, it can shine a light so bright that it engulfs any fear. It embraces it with gratitude. And it includes and transcends it. It's like the pressure that makes a diamond out of coal. You wrap it so much and condense it so much that this beautiful gem is created, and it twinkles once it's structured and given some sacred angles to it. The darkness is made into a beautiful shining gem. The same with the process of the sun. This random chaotic space gas is condensed by gravity, and it comes together and recognizes its own beauty, and then the fusion takes place. And then instantly there's a expansive light that gives a star is born. The light shines and the warmth is given, and the energy, that electromagnetic energy, is given off. And the gravitational waves sets forth a vibration across the universe. And that is you, that is I, that is us, it is this. The discovery of the peace and the love within. And has that same ripple effect as a gravitational wave. And then those waves connect with other waves that resonate with it. And you have a collective consciousness that creates a world that's loving, peaceful, compassionate, beautiful, harmonious. A world that is simply perceived and is a construct, like any other construct. Much gratitude to those that are present, who are able to bring that energetic frequency to resonate here, in this here, and in this now, the only now and the only here. Can there be another now? Can there be another here? It is this happening. This is the happening. In this happening, there is nourishment. Abide here and abide now. And allow this life to be the flow of light and the flow of joy. That brings happiness to those that come into conversation with you, or even within your presence. A calming presence. A presence of stillness, a presence of silence, a presence of knowing, a presence of wisdom, of right intelligence, right righteous thinking, a presence of loving kindness, and an understanding that is beyond cognitive intelligence, an understanding so innate and imbued that it is undeniable to the point of thinking or acting any way otherwise simply does not enter into the mind, and therefore never enters into reality. And the only perception that you offer is that of peace, unconditional love, and compassion. Because that is who you are at the core of your being. Because it is the life force that gives. It is the nature and the function of an infinite energy always permeating and thus always accessible. And it can be offered with a smile or some laughter. That the kind of laughter where you're laughing for no reason other than that this is life, and that there's a tremendous amount of joy offered in this life. You wake up laughing, you go to bed laughing, you're laughing in your dreams, the nightmares, and both in the sleeping state and the waking state. The worry vanishes, because you know you're taken care of by an unconditional love. Always. Always. Right now in this moment, if you're watching this, you're taken care of. One, you're alive. Two, your eyes and your ears and your body is working. And three, you have a device that can actually technologically receive this. That is a miracle. It's a miracle. Everything is a miracle until it's repeated. Then it ceases to be a miracle and becomes the norm. And then the norm becomes default. Without need to think about it. That is the opportunity that the now provides with its imbued peace, love, and compassion. It can arise and spring forth. And it does. That's the beauty of it, is that it does. It does. Earlier, there was a contemplation of emergency. The word emergency. There's an emergence during an emergency. And what emerges during an emergency? Focus. What are the 3 C's? Check, call, and care. What was the Red Cross? I don't know if it was something that they still teach yet. Check, call, and care. Check and see what's needed. Then you call 911. And the third thing is you care during an emergency. Those are the things that emerge. You check, you analyze, you investigate, and you see what the situation is. Then you call You want others to help, and you inspire others to help. And then you care collectively, either individual collectively. Those collective caring moments that we see of someone turning over a car on fire, or people holding hands to save a pet that's drowning in a river basin, or someone walking across ice to rescue an animal that's fallen beneath. That kind of care, collective care, it emerges during an emergency. That is compassion, to realize the essence of unity without separation, the connection of oneness, that heartfelt oneness. The caring where there's no speculation, no mind involved. This is what I do after checking and calling upon others to help. This is how I care. Spontaneous. Very spontaneous emergence. And it emerges, again, because it's always accessible. It's the unconditional love that's always accessible. If you needed to go get that which is always accessible, it would be something separate. And as we all know, the universe is one. That is why it's given the name universe. One song, one verse, repeating itself over and over and over as a verse, one song, united. Thank you for love, brother. There's peace and unconditional love here in this gathering, this sacred gathering. And a smile and compassion, the alleviation of suffering, and the clarity of impersonal inquiry. Clarity through impersonal inquiry, because the truth that is always there can be shared through words of wisdom. I trust that these words, that this voice, that this heart is an offering and uplifts your heart and empowers your words so that when you speak from a place of truth. That when you love from a place of truth. That when you emerge and you express compassion, it's from a place of truth. That your life is from a place of truth. That you live every single moment in this now and every single moment in this here as truth. And that discovery continues as the heart and the love continues. And it deepens, ever more into a root that is so strong that anyone or anything that tries to pull you out of it is simply wasting time and energy. That root takes place in stillness. That root takes place in silence. As I mentioned this yesterday, the silence other than that which is in between words, this is a silence deeper than that which we commonly think of being without noise. It's a silent mind. A mind that's so silent that it recognizes everything. It can hear everything. It can hear anything before it actually enters space of awareness, of knowing. It's a silence that's almost an object, rather than the silence that is simply void of noise, or the silence in between two words. It's that silence. And in that silence is that which is without a name. Yet it can be heard. Its whisper is louder than any fear can yell. Even its whisper is louder than hatred. Because it's so close. And fear is an illusion. It's that which is without distance. Peace, love, and compassion is without distance, and it can only emerge because it can't go back. There is no distance for it to go back. There's no return of the peace and the love and compassion that emanates into a universe that's expanding. That is the blessing and that is the grace. It's a constant output, a constant giving. It's a constant giving, a constant opportunity, constant potential, constant offering, constant. And if it's constant, it's infinite. And in that infinite energy that's constantly being offered, it's offering every single potential to be able to love. Every single probability that love is given. Without expectation, without needing to know the outcome. Simply abiding in intention and offering love always. Therefore, abide in that righteous intent. Because you are that love at the core of who you are. You are that love at the core of who you are. Everlasting love. That inner peace beyond all understanding. Even the dialogue ceases and becomes a monologue of love. The only words are love. The only expression of life is love. Every conversation is imbued by love. Every interaction is imbued by love. Every so-called solution is imbued with love. Life flows with ease without the need to discern who, when, how, where, what circumstances are needed to love. The energy put into discernment on conditional love of should I love this person, should I love that person, it fades. And there's only unconditional love. The answer is always yes, I love this person. But even I love this person. But what if I love you? So you just have a love. That's impossible. It's possible. It's possible because that which created life is doing it right now. You are receiving unconditional love right now because you are a witness to your life. If there was a conditional love, you would be unable to witness your life. The awareness of I am, that I exist, would instantly fade under conditional love. Therefore, in this specific now, and in this right now, right here, you are loved unconditionally. by that which created you, the now, and the here. And how can one express any other feeling other than gratitude for knowing that? Mm. 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 Be grateful for being alive, for simply being. Was there effort in making the atmosphere? Was there effort in creating this heart to beat? Was there effort in creating these lungs to breathe? Was there effort in this system that allows us to feel? The effort, if any, was on part of the creation, was on the part of creation. Gas clouds, perhaps, they say, creating all of this. The origin of some of it, from glass clouds, iron, some of the other elements. If those elements came from that which is being created right now, with all the other things that are being created in the universe. That 4% of the universe, they say, that is form, and all the other content of the one unified unity that is ever present, infinite, loving. Hmm. Oftentimes, when there is this recognition of this space that's created, this calmness, this state, some may think it's a state, and say, well, how do I maintain this? How do I exit and go into the real world? Again, an illusion that there's something separate from this space that's created, and there's something separate from the feeling that one may be having now of peace and love. How do I maintain this with all the daily activities? And I covered this a little bit yesterday, that it being the here, it being the now, can this permeate any other thing other than daily actions? Does it only permeate this present moment? If it's infinite, does it only permeate this present moment on one planet, in one solar system, in one part of the land mass, in one body, in one mind? It permeates all things. And so, therefore, it is infinitely accessible. Unnecessary to take anywhere. As one says, oh, how do I take this into my daily life? You are this in daily life. It's a good way to put it. You are this in daily life. And sometimes the things in daily life attempt to cover it up. And sometimes they're successful. Yet, at any point during the day, I want to make it clear I'm doing this. At any point during the day, any point during the day, it's there. It creates the day. It creates the sun, and it creates the earth. It's the creator and the creation. Abide in it. And see its wonders. Touch those around you. Be a witness to it. So that even the witness drops away. And there's only what is happening that is being. In the here and the now. I welcome those that just joined. I see a few people just joined, and I welcome you to this sacred gathering of peace, love, and compassion. Just speaking about the infinite, ever-present, and how there's often the question of how to bring this into one's daily life, and that this being infinite and being life, that actual perception of day vanishes. And if you abide in the place of now, if you abide in the place of here, it's timeless. And it's without allowing the mind to create time. The mind creates time to nest in it. It says, I made this comfortable place called time, and now I can suffer in it. And give it its strength. And say, and become a victim. An unnecessary victim. Perceiving it, there's a certain validation and process in perceiving it. Yet, perceiving it to a point of allowing it to destroy its host, the body, is when it can be recognized in order to heal. And drop the story, and you drop the suffering, and you're left with simply being without a story. Every time there's a connection of identity to the story, there is suffering. And there's the perception that it's necessary to suffer. Is that true? Is it necessary to suffer? And is it noble to suffer? Is it given a morality, a moral ideology, that if you suffer, you're better? You're a better person if you suffer. If you're a better person if you suffer, you're still a person. You're still identified as an illusion. So the better or worse are part of an illusion. If the dream is a nightmare, or the most beautiful dream you've ever had, it's still a dream. And you're still asleep. It's until you wake up that you experience the joy and the praise that you give to the good dream and the condemnation that you give to the nightmare makes no difference, and they cease to be. The same can be said for life. When you wake up to the reality and the pure truth of life, which is peace, love, and compassion, and the awareness and consciousness that is creating a constructed reality, then you start to see even the construct of culture as an illusion. That which was fact becomes a collective opinion that's agreed upon, and the deeper truth arises. The truth from within. And then there's even gratitude for the liars, the deceivers, the fake news, the alternative facts. They become blessings because the authority, internal authority of truth rises and says, I know this. I know it. Yes, a sacred gathering. Know it. Know truth. Without any authority needed. Because it is a close relative of I am. It's closer than close. It's without distance. I am is truth. Undeniable. I am. And nothing can take that away. Nothing. Say it deeply. Say it with conviction. Say it with integrity. I am. Say it from the heart. I am. And that I amness vibrates. It resonates. A frequency that Nothing can take it away, ever, because it's infinite. It is infinite. I welcome those who are watching. I see a few new names this evening, and I welcome you to this opening of the sacred gathering space for energized peace, love, and compassion. It's simply the sharing of wisdom, the opportunity for clarity through impersonal inquiry. Personal inquiry creates persons, and persons are illusions of a story. A beginning, middle, and end must have something before the beginning, and something during the middle, and something after the end that contains that story. And that is consciousness. If one remains identified, connected with the desire and the ecstasy of one's story, one will always suffer. One will always feel separate. The connection is always there because it is a unified universe. It is a unified field of energy that gives rise to all form, gives rise to life, allows one to breathe and heal, and to end one's own suffering and the suffering of others and the suffering of all animals that may suffer, all plants that may be dying unnecessarily, even the planet that may unnecessarily be dying and defending itself at every cost. The planet is unaware that we are human. The planet says, I've got an itch I need to scratch. Doesn't care if that itch is human or ape or anything. It says, oh, something wrong, and I gotta get back into my own harmony. And sometimes it needs to be assertive in order to get back into that harmonious state. A state of peace. It is only a state of peace that creates life, pure essence, pure joy, given through the unconditional love that itself is pure because it's unconditional, and the pure peace as is always offered. It's always radiating. It's always radiating. Luminous. Luminous, radiating love. with that, I'm grateful for those that gathered. Grateful in this sharing. Grateful for that which is, and offer up blessings to everyone who wishes to receive them. I was told that there is a part of Facebook where you can announce when one is doing a Facebook Live event. I will look into it because these have been spontaneous, and I'll look into how to do such a thing, how to let people know when a Facebook Live event will be, and post that so that if those who wish to join will know what the plan is and the possibility of watching these. And share them. If you find this worthy or valuable, share them with others. And they are also posted on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel. And I say these things to bring light to those that need it. To amplify and expand love, peace, and compassion. Share that. If you receive it, share it. Thank you. I bow to you all and wish you all wellness.